Students, now we are going to deal with our chapter 2, atomic structure of an atom. Developments leading to the Bohr's model of an atom we will deal in this chapter, and it was observed that all elements gives a characteristic line spectrum which couldn't be explained by the Rutherford model. And to understand this line spectrum, we need to understand the nature of the light, which was explained by the electromagnetic wave theory and then by the Planck's quantum theory. So electromagnetic radiations have a dual characters, wave nature as well as particle nature. Now if we deals with the electromagnetic radiations or the electromagnetic wave theory, which explain the phenomena of interference and diffraction, we came to know that radiation, the energy which is coming out from any source, is in the form of wave, and it must have some wave properties. So the energy emitted from any source continuously in the form of radiation, and these energies are known as radiant energy. These radiation consist of electric as well as magnetic field oscillating perpendicular to each other and to the direction of propagation of radiation. Therefore, these are called electromagnetic waves or electromagnetic radiations. So here are the two radiations, in which one is your electric field showing by the red marks, and the blue one shows the magnetic field. They are perpendicular to each other and also perpendicular to the direction of propagation. Electromagnetic waves do not require any medium to move. It can move in vacuum. Therefore, the light reaches from us from the sun through this empty space. They differ from one another in wavelength. They travel at the same speed, that of light. So, the speed of these electromagnetic waves is also 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. The frequency and wavelength can denote these waves or represent these waves by the formula C is equal to nu into lambda. So nu here is your frequency and lambda is your wavelength, where C is the speed of these electromagnetic radiations. So the formula will become C is equal to V into lambda. So there are some characteristics of the waves also, just like the sound waves. These electromagnetic waves also have amplitude, wavelength, they have some velocity, some frequency is there. So dealing with all these characters of the waves, first one is your amplitude. It is the height of the crest or the depth of the top of the wave, and it is expressed by the letter small a. The amplitude of the wave determines the intensity or the brightness of the radiation. More the intensity, more will be the brightness of the radiation. Lesser is the intensity of the amplitude, lesser will be the brightness of the radiation. Next one comes the wavelength. Wavelength is denoted by lambda, and it is the distance between the two adjacent crests or the trough. It is represented by lambda, and it is measured in Armstrong. So you know the relation between Armstrong and centimeter, that is 1 Armstrong is equal to 10 to the power minus 8 centimeter, or 1 Armstrong is equal to 10 to the power minus 10 meter. Then here is the next one, which comes as your period. So period is the time taken by the this wave to complete it. So the time taken between the two adjacent peak is same, and also the time between the two adjacent trough always the same, no matter which two adjacent troughs you pick. So the time taken to complete a wave is known as its time period, and its unit is your second. Then there comes the frequency, and the frequency is denoted by a sign nu. The number of waves which passes through a given point in 1 second is known as the frequency. The unit of frequency are cycles per second, or simply it is per second. The standard unit of frequency is also taken as 1 Hertz, and 1 Hertz is equal to 1 cycle per second. So a cycle is said to be completed when a wave consisting of a crest and a trough passes through a point. The next one is your velocity or the speed. The distance traveled by a wave in 1 second is called the velocity of the wave, and it is denoted by the small letter c and is expressed as meter per second. So there is a relation between your speed and your lambda. Speed is directly proportional to the wavelength and inversely proportional to the time. If I spread this one, it will become speed velocity v is equal to lambda into 1 by t, and 1 by t is your frequency. So the velocity is also equal to frequency into lambda. Now there comes the electromagnetic radiations. The electromagnetic radiation is the arrangement of different types of electromagnetic radiations in the order of increasing wavelength, and this is your electromagnetic spectrum, in which the different radiations are arranged in the order of your increasing wavelength and decreasing frequency. So if the wavelength is more, the frequency will be low, and if the wavelength is shorter, they have the larger frequency. So visible region of the electromagnetic spectrum lies between 400 nanometer to 750 nanometer, and below this 400 nanometer we are having ultraviolet radiations, X-rays and gamma rays, and above it we are having infrared, microwaves and radio frequencies. Then there comes the particle nature of the electromagnetic radiation. Diffraction mean bending of light, interference mean mixing of the light, could be explained by the wave nature of the radiation, but they could not explain the black body radiation, photoelectric effect and the line spectrum. So for that we are having the particle nature of the electromagnetic radiation and Planck's quantum theory. The first explanation for the phenomenon of the black body radiation was done by Max Planck in 1900. When an iron rod is heated in a furnace, it emits radiation and becomes dull red, and then progressively becomes more and more red as the temperature increases. When heating is continued, it becomes brighter and brighter orange, then yellow, then white, and finally it becomes blue at very high temperature. As we know, red light has higher wavelength and blue light has lower wavelength. So in terms of wavelength, it means that the radiations emitted goes from the higher wavelength to a lower wavelength, and therefore longer wavelength have a lower intensity, whereas the shorter wavelength has higher intensity. This means if we continue to heat anything, the intensity would keep on increasing indefinitely as the wavelength becomes shorter and shorter and may enters the ultraviolet region. However, the intensity of the black body radiation does not show this expected behavior. So, an ideal body which emits and absorbs all frequencies is called black body, and the radiation emitted by such a body is called black body radiations. So at a given temperature, the intensity of radiation emitted from a black body increases with decrease of the wavelength. It reaches a maximum value at a given temperature and then start decreasing with further decrease of wavelength as shown there. So an ideal black body is also defined as a perfect absorber and a perfect emitter of radiations. So according to the electromagnetic wave theory, the energy is emitted and absorbed continuously. That is, energy is directly proportional to intensity and is independent of frequency or wavelength. Thus, according to electromagnetic wave theory, the radiations emitted by the body being heated should have the same color, although its intensity may vary as the heating is continued. However, the change of color shows that on heating, the frequency of the radiation emitted is increasing. So there next comes the quantized theory or the quantized energy and photons. Planck says that the energy can only be absorbed or released from the atom in certain amount and not in a continuous form. So the energy from the source is absorbed or emitted discontinuously into small packets of energy, and these small packets of energy are known as quanta. There is a relation between the energy and the frequency, and the energy is directly proportional to the frequency, and when we remove this proportionality sign, it will be E is directly proportional H into V. H is known as your Planck's constant, having a value of 6.626 into 10 to the power minus 34 joules per second. With this theory, Planck was able to explain the distribution of intensities in the radiations from the black body as a function of frequency or wavelength at different temperature. Now here comes the photoelectric effect. Photoelectric effect is performed by H. Hertz in 1887. He observed that when light of certain frequency strikes a surface of some metal, electrons are ejected from the metal. And the phenomenon of ejection of electrons from the surface of a metal when light of suitable frequency strikes on it is called photoelectric effect. Here, the light of suitable frequency is hitting on the metal surface and electron is ejected out from this, and this phenomenon is known as your photoelectric effect. He observed there are certain things with this photoelectric effect, or certain important observations are there with this experiment. The electrons are ejected from the metal surface as soon as the beam of light strikes the surface. That is, there is no time lag between the striking of the light beam and the ejection of the electrons from the metal surface. Second thing is that for each metal, certain minimum frequency of light is needed to eject the electron, and that minimum frequency is known as threshold frequency. And below this threshold frequency, whatever the intensity of the light, the electrons will never be ejected out. At a frequency greater than threshold frequency, the ejected electrons comes out with certain kinetic energy, and the kinetic energy of the ejected electron is directly proportional to the frequency of the incident radiation and is independent of its intensity. So, more the kinetic energy means more will be the frequency of the incident radiation. But the how many number of electrons will be ejected per second from the metal surface depends upon the intensity or the brightness of the incident light. But it does not depend upon its frequency. So more is the brightness of the incident light, more number of electrons will be ejected per second from the metal surface. So these are some important observation of the photoelectric effect of electromagnetic radiation. Then here comes the Planck's quantum theory. He says that a beam of light can be viewed as shooting a beam of particles of photon. During the collision of the photon, transfer its energy instantaneously to the electrons, and the electron is ejected out without any time lag. Greater the energy, greater will be the transfer of energy, and greater will be the kinetic energy of the ejected electrons. So this is your Planck's quantum theory. So if h nu is the energy of the photons and h nu naught is the minimum energy required to eject the electron, then the difference in the energy is the transfer as kinetic energy. So h nu is equal to h nu naught plus half mev square, where m is the mass of the electron and v is the velocity of the ejected electron. Now we came to know, by these conclusions, we came to know that electromagnetic radiation have a dual behavior. The particle nature could explain the black body radiation and photoelectric effect. On the other hand, it was not consist with the known wave behavior of light, which could account for the phenomenon of interference and diffraction. The only way to resolve the dilemma was to accept the idea that light possesses both particle and wave-like properties. Light has dual behavior. It behaves like a wave when it moves or propagates, and like a particle when it interacts with a matter. So this is all about the electromagnetic radiations of the particle. Hope you understand it. We will deal with the next topic next time.